Hey everybody, this is Matt from Healthspan in Miami, Florida, coming to you from our Brickell location. And we get quite a few questions from members and guests and the community about what we do here. So I want to answer a few of those for you now. So what is cryotherapy? Well, cryotherapy is really just the use of cold temperature to shock the body. It's thought that the cold shock of the cold temperature is very good for unlocking a variety of different healing mechanisms. What is cryotherapy used for? Well, quite a few things. We have folks that like to use it for mood enhancement. It's very good for releasing catecholamines in the body, which is epinephrine and norepinephrine. You get some serotonin and dopamine release too. It's a very good cup of coffee in the morning if you're trying to decrease your caffeine intake. And let's not forget, cryotherapy has been shown to drastically reduce inflammation in the body, and it's very popular as a pain management tool. How long is a cryotherapy session? Well, that varies very wildly by person to person and machine to machine. If you're using water, for instance, or air, your times may change. And I think everyone is different. So it's important to kind of think about what goals you have and what your reason for doing cryotherapy is. However, we generally recommend a typical treatment lasts about 3 to 3.5 minutes. And of course, that time can be adjusted based on you and your goals. What does cryotherapy do to the body? Well, there are a few different mechanisms of action that are interesting. The cold shock of cold air or water creates a hormetic effect in the body that is really kind of the secret sauce. That's what triggers all the different cascades of healing. And they vary person to person a little bit, but that's where you get all of those beautiful anti-inflammatory cascades and things like that. Additionally, there's this phenomenon of cold shock proteins, which are a very specific family of proteins released in response to cold shock. These proteins are still being studied and discovered, but they're thought to have some pretty profound impact on immunity and a variety of other cool and interesting health benefits. And lastly, there's this idea of vasospasm. Cold shock is a vasoconstricting agent, and so the changes to vasculature have been shown to unlock a whole cascade of healing. Very good for blood pressure and even the strength of the arterial walls and the blood vessels. Another cool feature of cold therapy is this idea of brown fat mobilization. Now, brown fat is a metabolically rich fat. It's very mitochondrial dense, which is why it's beige and brown in color, and it lives sternal, clavicular, and in the upper back. And when that area of the body gets particularly cold, you get some interesting metabolic effects from that fat being activated. And not to mention, there's some really good collagen and elastin synthesis that goes on when the skin and the face get cold. Are there any negatives to cryotherapy? Cryotherapy is a very popular tool these days, and everyone seems to be cold plunging and doing cryotherapy on social media. And I must say that there are a handful of things you'd like to watch out for. If you have adrenal fatigue, for instance, or an autoimmune disease, you may want to take it easy on the cold exposure. It's not that it's a definite no for you. It's just something that you may want to ease into, because the cold shock, though very beneficial for some, may be a little hard on the system if you're already compromised. In the same vein, if you're feeling a little sick, or perhaps illness is coming on, you have a little tickle in your throat, maybe a little runny nose, that is not the time to do cold therapy. You're going to want to let your body kind of take care of all of that. Feel better. When you feel 100% again, then by all means, get cold. And then the cold therapy can actually do wonders for your immune system. And lastly, if you are working out, we do not recommend cold therapy immediately post-workout. Now, I see a lot of gyms and fitness facilities putting cold plunges in, and I do not agree with that thought process. Cold therapy is a pretty good pre-workout, but post-workout, you do not want to blunt your body's natural healing and inflammatory process. We recommend waiting at least 2 to 4 hours post-workout if you do want to get cold. So why do cryotherapy at Healthspan? Well, at Healthspan, we take a very individualized approach to health and healing. We want to be as specific as possible, create as concrete goals as we can with people. We have quite a few other modalities that can be very beneficial for getting you to the level you want. And we don't want you to just feel better. We want to get you to optimum. And so if you'd like to give us a try, come down and check out our services. Please feel free. We'll take great care of you. You can get more information at healthspanrecovery.com and on Instagram at healthspanofficial. Again, my name is Matt, and thank you so much for your time.